Do you ever ask yourself, why aren't my thoughts about these topics ever heard? Seeing the many responses from you to my thoughts regarding current topics, I think this is an important question. You need to be heard. You need to have the opportunity to let your family, friends, neighbors, and all of us hear your voice. So I would like you to tell me if you want to be a participant in a future Beyond the Frankfurt School video. See, this podcast is not about you listening to me. It is about you and me listening to you and me. It is for conversation. It is for working through the tough issues that we are confronting together. We all need to be wrestling with these problems and their solutions. In fact, increasingly, with each passing day, there are fewer and fewer people older than me. Likewise, with each passing day, more and more people are younger than I am. What that implies, I am decades past 50, is that with each passing day, my agency, my ability to affect change is smaller and smaller. Conversely, every day people under 50 years old are more and more able to affect real change. In this podcast, I have talked about many current topics, though we are far from over. The topics discussed may or may not be the most important. They are topics you and I hear and read about on the news and in the press. They may be either tempests in teapots or legitimate historical milestones. Only history will tell us that with certainty. An example, 47 years ago, we witnessed via the evening news that the Shah of Iran had been deposed, and that the American embassy in Tehran had been overrun, and that 66 Americans were taken hostage and imprisoned by the Islamic State. I did not recognize at the time that this was a historical milestone. I likely thought that Willie Stargell literally pulling the Pittsburgh Pirates to a World Series victory over the Baltimore Orioles was more newsworthy. That is the way it works. The really important events, the really important topics, become clear only with the passage of time. The distance of consideration and reflection. But the discussions we have in the here and now are important factors in both reflection and consideration. See, our conversation now helps us distill our thoughts, sharpen our understanding, and develop better solutions. That is what this podcast's purpose is, to help us distill, sharpen, and develop solutions that reflect not just our best understanding, but the understanding of those with whom we disagree. I want to hear from you. I want to give you a voice, even if your voice is only to ask questions. I want to give you a voice to let others hear your voice, especially if we disagree. Here is how I would like to do this new part of this Beyond the Frankfurt School podcast. First, you tell me you want to participate. Look back at the videos that have been posted and tell me, I would like to participate in a follow-up video on such and such topic. I have something to say about it or questions to ask about it. Contact me directly by email using the address provided in the About This Podcast information. You may have to click the View Email Address icon in the More Info portion of the description to see my email. That's all you need to do. I will start things from there. Here is what you can expect will happen. I will respond back to you to tell you I have received your request and to ensure that I have a good email address for you. We will set up a Zoom meeting to talk about what we will be doing. This will be a planning meeting only to lay out our timeline. We will schedule and set up a second Zoom meeting during which we will get to know each other better and hopefully over about an hour to an hour and a half period, record a 10 to 15 minute session that will include 3 parts. First, I will briefly introduce you and the topic you will be discussing. Now, I will need a short resume of you beforehand to do this right. Remember, in your resume, include your background in a way that explains your connection to the topic. I'm not looking for professional or experiential background. I'm looking for what draws you to this topic. I will turn over to you for you to present your comments regarding the topic. Part 3, I will likely ask you 2 to 3 questions that hopefully we will have discussed beforehand. This will not be adversarial and is intended to help with clarification of your comments or questions. I am not trying to change your mind or win the argument, because it isn't an argument. It's a conversation. If we see things differently, it is because we see things differently. As soon as possible, I will post the video recording of the 10 to 15 minute session with those 3 parts only to the podcast. Then you and I will have an opportunity to see how people react together. I do not intend to try and speak for you or your comments and questions. I will reply to all responses with a simple thank you only. That's what I hope we can do together. You may be hesitant to reply for any number of reasons, even though you have something to say. But please let us hear from you. I hope there will be lessons learned by all of us, but let them be lessons learned and not obstacles. You can do this. I will be posting this note in writing to the community bulletin board as well. Oh well.